Hello all, glitch failure here. Today I'll be tackling the animal transport problem. This is a hard difficulty challenge. So I actually already have a working solution in Python, but when I was looking at JavaScript, I saw that there actually wasn't a single person who has even come close to scoring any points on the solution. So I thought I would try to transfer my Python solution to JavaScript. So this is what I'm doing today. Now, I don't get into a whole lot of detail on exactly why everything's working the way it works. I already have a video on that, so please do check it out. I posted up top. And once I start talking about the Python code implementation, you can switch back to here. That's the idea. I'm just walking through my JavaScript solution. Here, we're going to be defining our function. I'm going to be adding 1 to the max zoos. I'm calling that my zoo count. I'll also be creating a array of arrays, essentially. That is the size of the zoo count, called sources by dest zoo. I'll then be creating 2 new sets. This is to allow us to have unique nodes that we're going to be updating. Then all we're doing is looping through all of the animals, grabbing the source and destination zoos, making sure that they are in the proper order. And then we're going to be updating the sources by dest zoo array. And what we're doing is we're pushing only the positive version if the animal is a cat or an elephant. So that's what we're doing there. Otherwise, it's a dog, and we will be pushing in the negative version of that. Here, I'm going to establish the first zoo node within the segmentation tree, just zoo count plus 1. I'll be creating an array. This is our additions segmentation tree, as well as the maxes for the cats, as well as another 2 for the dog additions and maxes. All right, so here is the main loop. We're going to be iterating from the beginning, the zoo number 1, and we're going to keep going up until the end. Here I'm going to be grabbing the sources. If we don't have anything, then we can just continue to the next one since there's nothing to really process. If we get past this, then we do have something to process. We need to parse out the ones that are cats versus the dogs. That's based on whether it's positive or not. So here, if it's positive, we're going to handle this as a cat. Otherwise, we're going to handle it as a dog. And notice here that we have to actually invert the source to be positive because we had it negative initially. All the additions have been handled so far, and now we need to bubble up from any nodes that have been updated to properly handle the maxes. We can also clear out the set because we're going to be reusing that data structure, and it's easier to clear it than to create it again. So here we're going to grab the maxes off of the 2 segmentation trees. We're going to calculate our node because we are referencing the node within the segmentation tree. Just to be convenient, we're reusing our cat maxes segmentation tree list. Since the leaf nodes are not being used, we're reusing them for a different purpose. In this case, our intermediate answer. Definitely check out the video for the efficiency that I mentioned near the end of that video. So if these values are the same, then we just need to update our source of truth. Otherwise, if the cat is the max, then we need to update our dog. We still always update our source of truth, and we will update the max for the dog and basically bubble it up from there. Otherwise, it's the cat that needs to be updated, and we need to use the dog's max, and that's what we're doing here. And then we bubble that out as well. And once we're done with all of that, this loop is done. We've gone through all the zoos. Then we can come down here and start constructing our answer. Here I have an array filled with all negative ones, the size of n animals. And here I have a animal count, which will serve sort of 2 purposes. It'll be our animal count, but also the index within our answer list. And all I'm doing is looping through each zoo again. We're going to establish the node. Again, we're reusing the cat maxes list for this purpose. While the animal count is less, we're going to keep using that zoo in our answer list until the animal count has been surpassed. And then we will stop and get out of this while loop and then go to the next zoo. And that will be us filling in our answer, and we can return our answer list. Some things I'm not mentioning here are the functions I've set up. So let's go back a little bit. I'm just scrolling up to the top here where I have this stuff defined. My one up to source function takes in the left and right side of the range that we're updating, as well as the unique updated nodes. That's the set that we're going to be adding to, as well as the additions segmentation trees. While the left and right have not met yet, we're going to check to see if the left is odd. If it is, then we will properly handle the addition there and just +1 that. Then we're going to make sure to add the left node to our updated nodes set because this is something that we'll need to eventually bubble up later. If the right is odd, we handle that appropriately. We got to go to the left child first by decrementing by 1, updating it with a +1, and then again adding that to our updated node set to be handled later. Then we will always get the parent. Here we have the bubble node updates to maxes. So here we have our set that's coming in. We have our additions and maxes. We're going to take each node out of that set. We're going to get the parent. And while the node is essentially not 0, we're going to properly get the left and right child index for that parent, get the max, which is essentially the additions and the max for that child. Whatever the max is, that will be the new max for the parent. However, we want to stop early potentially, and if the new max is not actually better than the current parent's node, then we don't need to update it. We can just break right here. Otherwise, it is better, and then we set that to the parent. Then we basically navigate up. This is bubbling up the additions to the parent. And here's the last function we have here. We are given a node and the maxes segmentation tree. This is to update the maxes list for one animal type when the other one had the better max. We are given a node. We're going to get the parent of that node. And very similar logic to the last function, we're going to just grab the child indices, get their max values. We're going to get the new max, break early. We set the max to the parent, get the parent's parent, and keep going until we can't go any further. Let's run this code, see how well it runs. It works pretty well. Let's submit some code. Look at that. It works. It works for JavaScript as well. Very nice. I really do believe that they reduced the time requirement for these tests recently, because I think it's really weird that no one has passed the JavaScript one, because that's a pretty popular language. Anyway, folks, if this is the kind of content you enjoy, please make sure to like, subscribe, do all the good things, and I will see you next time. Take care.